everyone, and welcome to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster.
And this episode is going to be one of those fun, chatty ones. We're doing Spotify Wrapped for us, our lives.
Spookify Wrapped.
Spookify Wrapped, yes. So if you enjoy just hearing us chit-chat and tell stories, this should be one that you like. And I am gonna start it off with my first question, which is, what is your favorite spooky activity or thing that you did this year, Mitch?
Oh my.
You had a busy year.
I know. Oh, obviously. Oh, I don't know why I even thought about it. Kind of, I don't know. I'm going to count multiple activities kind of in one thing, but I kind of got to do a spooky road trip this year to put together the Halloween Spooktacular for my YouTube channel. And I got to go visit like all these. I mean, I got to come see you. We did our podcast and like live and in person. I got to go visit Miranda in Houston and Devin and Andrew in St. Louis and saw Laura Lee in Houston also. Like I got to meet spooky folks that I have had the pleasure of knowing from being a spooky content creator. And that is just like the best joy in the world, finding your people in that way, like through what you love and putting it out there and then finding your community. It was the coolest. And getting to see everybody's homes like decorated for Halloween. It was awesome.
Yes. I'm trying to think of my own answer to this question. I mean, obviously, seeing you was a highlight. It was an excellent time.
Surprisingly, we didn't have a particularly spooky time
we
together.
Didn't. Though. I was gonna say you were here before I was decorated for Halloween, so you didn't. So we weren't. I mean, obviously the podcast was spooky, but like we didn't do spooky stuff while you were here because it was a little early for that still.
Yeah, but we still had a great time though. And I met you through spooky things. Yes. So I count you as part of that journey.
Yes, it counts. I actually had a really good Halloween Eve this year. So a friend of mine came down from Minneapolis to spend the weekend with us for Halloween, which was great. And for those who don't know, I'm a big nerd and I like tabletop gaming and like role-playing games. And as part of her visiting, we played a game called 10 Candles, which is described as a tragic horror role-playing game.
I think my friend Jen has invited me to play that a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it sounds incredible.
It is. It's very cool. It's very fun. So I led this one. So the whole conceit is that you do physically light 10 candles as you're playing, and you blow candles out at different points. And if candles go out by themselves, you cannot relight them. And once all of the candles are out, all of your characters are dead.
Oh, that sounds really fun. I'm also a big nerd. Penny and I both are D&D ladies, so that sounds really fun.
Yeah, so running that game for my friends was one of my favorite kind of spooky things that I did this year. It was a lot of fun.
I have to mention that being able to go to the Spirit flagship store, because that was, because I love going to Spirit in general. Like that's what feels like spooky season starts when the Halloween store is open, you know?
Yeah.
And getting to go there and that being like the best stocked Spirit I've ever, because the Midwest Spirits are always just
they're wonky.
The animatronics aren't going. It's always a whole thing. But that was so incredible to like get to walk through their in-store experience. And it's like the first year of my life that I haven't been horribly terrified of animatronics. So I got to really like actually have a good time. And that was so fun.
I am still scared of animatronics. I don't like them.
We need to do like a whole episode on Uncanny Valley, because that's a very real fear that I have.
Yes, every time I go to a spirit store, I take like a super wide berth around the animatronics, and I'm just like, I'm not about that.
I used to, when I would do my decor hunting, because people always want to see what the animatronics
Mm-hmm.
do. And I would take my friend Emmy with me, and she would step on the pad, and I'd stand way back with a camera.
Oh, they are the spookiest. Well, I mean, obviously, one of the main highlights of my year was launching this podcast with you.
Oh my God.
Do you have a favorite episode or concept that we've done so far? Or like, what has been your favorite thing about launching the podcast this year?
I mean, first of all, yeah, just like this has been like a dream. I've wanted to do a podcast for years, but didn't really have like a solid idea of what I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to do. And I literally cannot think of a better person to do it with than you. This has been
Mm,
such a blast. And thank you all so much for embracing us and listening. It's so fun. Man. I mean, I'm gonna kind of answer this in two parts. All the episodes we recorded in person are my favorites
yeah.
because as far as process, because it was just so fun to record. And I think like we got so much better as a team after that because we
Mm-hmm.
kind of figured out how we played off each other, and that was just a blast. But gosh, I really liked your graveyard episode. I think as far as a listener, that was one of my favorites to listen to back.
Oh, thank you. I'm literally looking at the list right now because I'm like, what did we do? Um, so I really enjoyed the Ouija board episode. Was super
Yes.
fun, and was that the very first one we recorded? If not, it was like the
It
first or second.
it was the yeah, it might have been the first one we recorded. I think because we recorded Punkin' Chunkin' and Luigi board
Yes.
uh on the same day, and that was pre me coming to Milwaukee. So we had done
Mm-hmm.
those like early. Um but yeah, I think we recorded that one first, even though it's our second ep. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good that's a really good episode. I like
It's
it
a
a
good
lot.
one. And I really loved the fashion episode because
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. That's why I was like, well, we'll do like a chatty end of the year episode because it's fun to just chit chat and like
I
talk
do
about
like our
things.
chatty ones. And I love that we like have the freedom to do kind of a variety with this format where we can
Mm-hmm.
do more like informed factual ones and then bounce back and forth with these more chatty ones. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Well, I mean, since I just mentioned fashion, do you have a favorite like item, outfit or accessory that you acquired this year that
Spooky
is
fashion of the year.
spooky fashion of the year?
Oh man. Yeah. too
Yeah.
too too many to count. Um I mean, I know you know because I was very envious of you for a long time. One of my favorite things was to finally be able to get my hands on that purple bat dress from
Yes.
Vixen because she had made it a couple years back and I missed it, and I still had not stopped kicking myself about it. But one of my other favorite things was weirdly Maggie McGill, which they are a like plus size fashion
Mm-hmm.
creator. They're not
Yeah.
really in the spooky fashion community, but give them a follow. Great content. Um, but recommended these like ghost overall skirt thing pinafore
Mm-hmm.
from Hot Topic. And had like a link for it, and I ordered them, and that has been like my go-to cozy spooky outfit, like my
Nice.
comfy errand running outfit. uh, and gosh, I haven't shopped at Hot Topic since I was 15, and I was so excited to see them come through with such a cute a spooky and b like size inclusive option. It was really cool.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing is I bought my Evercrumblian witch hat this year.
Oh
It
yeah, pop off, that
yeah,
thing is beautiful.
yeah. I was gonna say it's a and this is how you can tell that I'm too into spooky stuff and spooky fashion, where I'm like, well, it's not really spooky, like it's spring and it's purple, and I'm like, it's a witch hat. It counts as a spooky thing. So
Literally me, every time I buy like a pink spider dress, I'm like, it's spring attire.
right? It's like that's not really spooky, but yes,
Spider webs are a neutral.
yeah, that's probably my favorite fashion acquisition of the spooky variety for this year because it's just so beautiful. It's so well made. I absolutely love it.
I don't remember. I've really expanded my how like not Halloween but like spooky handbags this year as
Oh yeah.
well. I bought my first Love Pain and Stitches this year.
Mm,
I got that Bride of Frankenstein head that's Love Pain and Stitches Vixen collab. I got my I Love Spooky bag from oh my gosh, my brain. Lucky Hellcat.
oh yes.
um yeah, I've definitely that was kind of like a weird to sound so silly. Literally in my like resolution, I make goals every year.
Yeah.
And one of my 2021 goals was to expand my handbag and shoe wardrobes because I'm a person who will wear like a pair of black flats
Oh
until they
yeah.
just disintegrate around my
Same.
feet, and then I'll buy the same pair. And so, and I had the same black coffin little handbag from Tatiana that I carried
Hmm.
all the time. So, I think I achieved that goal this year. I'm really proud of myself for all the
Heck
money that I
yeah.
spent.
You gotta set specific goals, especially when they're like fashion related things. It sounds silly, but it is true. Like you have to look at like what specifically you want to, change or expand and be like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're focusing on.
2022 is going to be the year of the harness for me.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
going to finally break into the penny world of fashion harnesses.
Yes. Come join us.
You've made me believe it's possible, so I'm dangerous now.
I do. I will say that is definitely also up there in my favorite things. I got a bunch of harnesses this year,
You
and they're
did,
just
and
so
they're all
cool. And
great.
I want to buy more. I'm really mad right now that I did not buy a red harness in time for Christmas
Oh, for
outfits.
greatness!
Like why do I not have? So now I'm gonna have to get one. So I'll have it in my stash for next year.
Yes, 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 yes. That's a Halloween hot tip. Is during Halloween season, buy up things even if you aren't going to use them for spooky season that you think you might want throughout the year.
Hmm.
That was how I was able to make a creepy Christmas display this year, is because I thought ahead in like July.
Smart. So we talked briefly about goals that you had this year and what your fashion goal. Do you have other goals, spooky related goals for next year that you want to share?
Sure, yeah. I mean, this is kind of a silly, like, of course everyone wants to do this, but I really do want to try to get to like some kind of horror con next year.
Yeah.
If pandemic allows, I really would love to go to like Midsummer, or like Season Screamings or something. Um, there's no horror cons in the Midwest, so
No.
you really do
Yeah.
have to do a big travel for it. So I would really, really, really love the opportunity to do that next year. That's probably my big one. I mean, other than that, though, this has been a really awesome, like, exciting year for I think both of us in this realm, and just like continuing to grow this podcast, um, continuing to like find ways to do vintage and spooky together on the channel, like that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
That's my focus. I think this was a really exciting year for me in like finding or like allowing my truest self to exist and not fighting it. Like,
Yeah.
I think I've always thought I had to be one or the other. Like, you either have to be really pinup vintagey gal, or you have to be like goth. Like,
Yeah.
like if you want to be spooky, you have to be goth. Um, and this year was very liberating for me, where I found this place that exists between beauty and spooky, and I'm loving it. I can't wait to just see where that goes next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd say the same. Definitely obviously want to continue growing this podcast and working on it. It's been so much fun already and just really keeping focused on that. I'd like to I would say a goal of mine would be to write some more next year. Unsurprising, it's been a rough year for the entire world. So
What?
it's kind of distracted me from, you know, some of my creative hobbies that I miss. And so I'd like to get back into writing more about spooky things or fashion and all of that kind of stuff. As well as doing, hopefully, you know, the pandemic will allow some additional like photo shoots and things like that.
Yes, I miss
I've
shooting.
missed shooting, and have gotten to, did, you know, get to shoot safely with some different people this year, but like there are definitely like more intense and interesting things that I want to do that aren't just like standing, you know, at a distance outside.
Yes. Yeah, I will say too, for the podcast specifically, something I'm excited about hopefully branching into next year is like starting to think about bringing some guests onto the
Oh, yeah.
podcast,
Yes.
um, and kind of seeing what that would look like for us. Do you have any like people that come to mind that you're like, if I could have a dream guest on the podcast next year?
Oh, man.
I know that's a loaded question to ask you, like
I mean,
unprompted.
I mean, if we're talking like dream guests, I would love to talk to Christine McConnell
Oh
about
my F.
being vintage and spooky. Absolutely a queen of both realms.
I
And
would
just
simply plutz if she even like
yes,
breathed in our direction. I would
yes.
pass away.
So yeah, if you're talking like ultimate goal, that would be fabulous. Otherwise, obviously, you know, we know tons of great content creators in the spooky realm who would be super fun to chat with on specific things. I'd really like, I think it would be fun to do some of like the more focused ones where we've like talked about like movies or media properties that we like.
Mm,
I would love to have someone come on and like talk about their favorite horror movie or property and just kind of get that inside scoop on something that, you know, maybe aren't like your eye favorite thing.
yeah, definitely. That's yeah. I think like we will definitely reach a point with this where we've tapped our niche interests, and that's I think where I yeah would love to exactly what you said. Yeah, see what other spooky things get other people's like engines revving, and hear that from a different perspective as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
such
mean
a
like
wide world of spooky things.
yes, yes. I'm excited to see. That being said, if y'all have suggestions of people you would love to, you know, hear on the pod or love to hear us interview or talk to, feel free to send us a DM on Instagram or, you know, let us know if there's
Yeah.
topics you want to hear about in the new year. Um, we are always we're full of ideas, but we also love to hear what you want to hear. So
Yeah, for sure. It's always good to get feedback and hear what you want to know about, because obviously, you know, the two of us can ramble on about anything
anything.
for an extended period of time. So if you want to point us in the right direction, we're definitely happy to take suggestions.
Yes.
Is there anyone like, is there something that you're looking forward to from like a media perspective? Is there like a movie or anything coming out in 2022?
Scream 5.
Nice,
I
yes.
already got my ticket. I Scream 5. I'm so excited. Halloween Kills kind of let me down this year. Like it wasn't terrible, but I
Mhm.
feel like it was so built up because we had to
Yeah.
wait so long with the pandemic. So it was fine. It was good. Like it was yeah. But I really I'm aching for some just like nostalgic slasher. I want them to hit me where it hurts. What about you? Is there something you're hyped for?
Um, I I get nothing super specific. Ghost Files, the new
Yes.
ghost hunting from the Ghoul Boys will be coming in 2022, which I'm excited about. I think it is kind of funny because like I feel like a lot of people who have been BuzzFeed Unsolved fans were like losing their minds, and I was kind of like, didn't we all know that they were going to do another ghost hunting show? Like,
Right.
obviously, like, this was their thing. And I was kind of like, I wasn't sure if there would be like a gap, how much of a gap there would be if like the like BuzzFeed contract wouldn't allow them to make another show for a certain period of time or something. But
Sure.
nope, they're in it. They're jumping right back in. And I am excited to see what they have in store.
I thought of you this morning because I got I mean, I'm not a huge BuzzFeed Unsolved gal, and I didn't really know a lot about them. But I got a targeted TikTok on my For You page this morning of Shane. Is that his name?
Yes.
Shane? And it was like, when you don't believe in ghosts, but you make a career out of ghost hunting. And it was funny. And I was like, there's my girl. There's Penny.
Yeah. It's me. I'm the Shane.
It me.
Me. Yeah, so that's probably what I'm most excited about. Also, I don't know. I've been in a vampire mood lately. I mean, I think we actually we haven't talked since then. But rest in peace to Anne Rice.
Yes.
Kind of definitely a complicated figure, but someone who did really bring sexy vampires back to the mainstream. So
yes,
I appreciate it. I would definitely not be the same person I am today if I had not started reading Anne Rice books much too young. But yeah, I've just been feeling like vampires. And so I don't know. I think I heard that like Nicolas Cage is making a Dracula movie, which I'm not that hype for, but if someone else wanted to make some sweet vampire content, I would be in for that.
Was there any kind of spooky thing that came out this year that was like started a new exciting journey for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. And the hardest part about doing like year-end recaps in this day and age is I have no concept of what this year even contained. I'm like, did the pandemic start this year? No, it didn't. It's been a whole nother year. So just trying
That's
to
fair.
remember what's been happening. I'm trying to think if there's a new thing. Was there something that you were thinking of?
To be frank, I haven't watched it yet, but I was excited to see that sci-fi Chucky series come to television, mostly because Jennifer Tilly is in it.
Yes,
that
fabulous.
made my heart really happy. So yeah, I mean, like, there have been a couple things, but nothing. Again, I mean, obviously, like I said, I spent the whole year excited about Halloween Kills because the 2018 was so good, and then that kind of, I think maybe my expectations were too high.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'll shout out. So as we started this thing talking about being a big nerd, I'm a big fan of Dimension 20, which is a D&D play show. And
is that the full title of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they did, so it wasn't, they do all sorts of role-playing things, but they did a season called Shriek Week that was like a college dating sim monster role play game.
That's funny.
Which was incredible. And so like the players were all like descendants of like famous movie monsters and creatures and things, and they are in college, like, you know, dating
like
and living
High.
their lives. Basically, yeah, it's Bram University. So highly recommend if you are looking for something like that. It's very queer and very fun.
You know, I was thinking when you were talking about that 10 Candles game that in 2022, next year, I think it's like November 5th is National D&D Day. And we should do a D&D episode where we talk about the monsters of D&D.
Oh, that would be so fun. I would love that. There are some gooey monsters.
Big spooky boys.
In Dungeons & Dragons. Big spooky boys.
Yeah, that would be fun. I also think here's my goal for 2022 is to film a episode of ghost hunting for my YouTube channel with me and Penny. I'm gonna going to make a believer
All
out of
right.
her.
All right. I'll come. I'll come. I'll check it out.
It'll literally be me like hiding around a corner and like hitting a pan and being like, oh, did you hear that? I will say one of kind of this is I'm rewinding a bit, but
Mhm.
I actually do have I'm really hoping in the next year, maybe it might take 2 years. I'm hoping to write a book.
Ooh, like a fiction book or a nonfiction book?
Nonfiction, kind of like I guess I should very, very clarify. Not like I'm not like a writer like Penny is. But I want to kind of branch into this idea of making kind of a haunted hostess book,
Oh yeah.
and do some like fun stuff with that. I'm still fleshing this out in my head, but that's made my list of goals for next year already that I really want to. I don't know if it'll be a book or an ebook, but
Yeah.
that's next year's big project goal.
Oh yeah, that would be a super fun thing to put together. I'm trying to think now. I'm like, do I have? I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm like plugging myself, but I want to work more on like my Patreon next year, and that's kind of what I was talking about, like with writing too. Like I've definitely let my blog and things like that haven't been as active lately, and I do
Sure.
really enjoy that kind of like lifestyle writing and things like that. So just kind of trying to do things more regularly and give myself time to write more long form stuff instead
And
of
also, like, please do plug yourself. I love your blog.
thank you. Yeah, it'll be too late for Christmas gifts when this come out, but if you're looking for spooky things to get goths, there's a gift guide on my blog right now.
That's useful year round.
I'm
You
gonna
can
say
use that.
you can get goth stuff all the time. We love presents, so
Yeah. People have birthdays. People have divorce parties. I don't know. You There's all kinds of times you can
it's
use a goth
true.
gift guide.
It's very true.
Well, let's maybe for our final little blip here.
Hmm.
I mean, I know you kind of did this, but what are you like most looking forward to in the new year? Even in your personal life, doesn't have to be spooky. What
Hmm.
are you most looking forward to?
Ooh, looking forward to just kind of moving in. I feel like I'm set up for a positive year, which I don't like, not in a huge world sense. I'm trying not to be too hopeful
Right.
about the world, but at this time last year, I was still in a job that I wasn't happy at, and things like that. And so this year, I'm starting, in a place with my work that I'm happy with, creative projects that I'm excited about. So I think that I'm just excited to keep developing all of those things and trying to just continue to create more. I feel like creating more is always my goal for a year, and hopefully this year it'll come to pass.
Literally, like, I mean, verbatim ditto.
Yeah.
It's I think if anything good has come out of the last couple of years, I think it's been a real shift in perspective for a lot of us of
Hmm.
what actually is important to us and what brings us joy. And uh yeah, I'm excited to have spaces like this to create and
Mm.
connect with people and just hopefully spread some of our joy to you listeners and uh, be able to share this community together of spooky lovers.
Yes. Yes, I hope all of you out there have a safe and happy New Year's, and that you find something to, kind of have as your shining star as you are heading into the next year, and keep keep smiling as best as you can.
Let us know. We always usually Penny will do a lovely post on the Instagram at Ghouls Night In Pod to
Mhm.
announce a new episode. So leave us a comment in this episode's post and let us know what spooky thing that you did this year that was really special to you, or what some of your spooky goals might be for 2022. We
Yes.
love to hear and engage with y'all about what you have going on in your lives too. So we hope you have a wonderful new year. And
Yes.
boy, I guess we will see ya in 2022.
All right. Yeah. We'll do the spiel. Thank you for listening. We were talking about if you were to be moved to leave a review for this podcast, in the new year, we will be
Yes.
reading reviews on the show. So say something nice about us and we'll read it.
Yeah.
We won't read it if you say something mean, so don't do that.
We currently have one review and it's fine.
we appreciate
We
the
really
review,
appreciate it.
but feel free to comment and leave reviews and let people know that you enjoy the show. And as Mitch said, you can find us on Instagram at Ghouls Night in Pod, and you can find myself at Penny Snark.
And you can find me at Midge Munster.
And until next year,
Goodbye.
bye.